First, preheat your oven to 1775. Melt 2 sticks of butter, which represents the Enlightenment, which was a primary cause of the revolution.
The Enlightenment was a time of intellectual and philosophical movement that emphasized reason, logic, and individual rights. It had a significant impact on the American Revolution by inspiring the colonists to question the authority of the British monarchy and fight for their own independence.
Next, add 3/4 cup of cocoa powder, which represents the 7 Years' War.
The 7 Years' War was fought between the French and Great Britain. It took place from 1756 to 1763, and it had a significant impact on the American Revolution because it left Britain with a massive debt. To pay off this debt, Britain had to impose taxes on the American colonies, which ultimately led to widespread resentment and played a role in sparking the revolution.
So next up we have the vanilla extract and eggs. The vanilla extract represents the Townshend Act, and the eggs represent the Stamp Act, which were both economic issues that led to the revolution.
The Stamp Act of 1765 required colonists to pay a tax on paper goods like newspapers and legal documents by buying stamps. The Townshend Acts of 1767 were a series of laws taxing goods imported to the colonies, such as tea and glass. Both acts caused outrage because colonists had no say in these taxes.
Next up is the No Taxation Without Representation protest by the Americans, which is represented by our sugar.
No taxation without representation was the colonists' protest against British taxes without having a say in Parliament.
Next up, we have the flour and the chocolate chips that represent the Intolerable Act.
The Intolerable Acts were harsh laws passed by Britain in 1774 to punish Boston for the Tea Party. They closed Boston's port and reduced self-government in Massachusetts. These acts rallied the colonies together against Britain, helping to ignite the American Revolution.
Next up we have the peanut butter, which represents the First Continental Congress, which was a primary political cause for the revolution.
The First Continental Congress was a meeting of important people from the colonies in 1774 to discuss their grievances against Britain. They sought to find a peaceful resolution to the tensions. While it didn't immediately lead to independence, it helped unite the colonies and set the stage for further actions.
Finally, add the chocolate chips, which represent the battles of Lexington and Concord, the start of the American Revolution.
The Battle of Lexington and Concord was the first military engagement of the American Revolution. It took place in 1775 in Massachusetts. British troops were sent to seize colonial military supplies, but the local militia, known as the Minutemen, stood up against them. The battle marked the start of the armed conflict between the colonies and Britain, leading to the pursuit of independence.